Students and teachers at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School are returning to class today, 2 weeks after a mass shooting there. 17 people died in the attack, and as Hinadoba reports from Parkland, Florida, investigators have revealed new information showing it could have been much worse.
The doors of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School reopened to students and teachers today. Many still haunted by the deadly shooting that claimed 17 lives.
Some of my friends are having a harder time than others. I'm doing okay right now.
Just 2 weeks ago, 17-year-old Carlos Rodriguez was in the school and took cover as shots rang out.
It's not going to be the same hallways. It's not going to be the same smiles.
Today, extra security and grief counselors will be on campus. Some parents are concerned their kids aren't ready to go back.
How many of those kids that are broken, that aren't processing this properly, are going to be put back in this school?
The freshman building where the shooting occurred here in Parkland will remain closed today. Investigators say suspected gunman Nicholas Cruz left nearly 180 rounds of ammunition unfired when he fled the scene. Sources also tell CBS News Cruz attempted to create a sniper's nest at the building by shooting out a third-floor window. But his bullets did not shatter the hurricane glass.
My plan is to spend $500 million to make our schools safe.
Florida Governor Rick Scott has now proposed making school buildings in his state more secure by installing bulletproof glass. He's also called for an increased law enforcement presence in every school. Hinadoba, CBS News, Parkland, Florida.
Sources also say images of swastikas were found on the ammunition magazines used by the suspected shooter. Also making this morning's headlines, the security clearance for President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, has been downgraded. Kushner will no longer have access to the president's daily briefing. He's part of a group of roughly 36 people who learned their access was downgraded following new, tighter security standards implemented by Chief of Staff John Kelly. In local court news, a Hardin man who beat his toddler to death will spend 100 years in prison. Prosecutors had only requested a sentence of 50 years in prison for 24-year-old Dana Redding, but the judge, who was clearly shaken by the gruesome details of the murder, doubled that request. Redding admitted in November that he beat 2-year-old Isabella to death with a belt in an unexplained fit of rage. The coroner's report found the toddler was beaten relentlessly, causing compressions to her spine. Redding admitted at an earlier hearing he didn't have a reason to discipline his daughter. A psychologist who was a witness for the defense said Redding was a victim and witness of abuse as a child, which likely caused him to be an abusive adult. But the judge said that's not an excuse for his horrific actions and also imposed a 50-year restriction on Redding's parole to protect others from his violent outburst. The victim's mother, Cavanna Grace George, also faces charges for allegedly knowing about the abuse and failing to report it. The Crow Agency man accused of beating a Hardin woman to death with a frying pan says he didn't do it. 22-year-old James Bryan pleaded not guilty in Bighorn County District Court Tuesday to 1 count of deliberate homicide and 2 counts of assault. Bryan is accused of fatally beating 48-year-old Leilani Whitehip and assaulting 2 other women with a frying pan in Hardin. Whitehip was in the hospital on life support for 2 weeks before she died on Saturday. Prosecutors also said Bryan is a suspect in an open murder investigation in Yellowstone County, but did not specify which case. His bond is set at $1 million. The former Hardin High School student accused of bringing a gun to school and the teacher accused of hiding the weapon for him also pled not guilty Tuesday. 17-year-old Utakat Burdenground pleaded not guilty to 3 charges, including a felony for allegedly bringing the weapon to school. Former art teacher Nora Block denied a charge of tampering with evidence, possessing a weapon in school, and obstructing an officer. The judge ordered Burdenground to stay away from schools and school functions, saying the issue of gun violence in schools is especially sensitive right now, and he wants to ensure it doesn't happen in Hardin. Block was ordered not to speak with students. Both are out on bond. MSU Billings has a new leader who says he can't wait to roll up his sleeves and get to work. Dan Edelman, Chief Financial Officer at the University of North Texas at Dallas, was named the next Chancellor of MSU Billings and City College following a national search. MSU President Waded Cruzado says Dr. Edelman will enhance the school's focus on students and their success. Edelman was among 4 finalists for MSUB's top job. The search committee used words such as leadership, forward-thinking, and community engagement to describe Dr. Edelman. The Montana Board of Regents will vote on Edelman's appointment at its meeting next week in Dillon. Dr. Edelman will assume his new responsibilities on May 7th. Turning now to Winter Watch, the Blackfeet, Fort Belknap, and Northern Cheyenne reservations are under an emergency declaration following severe weather conditions. Montana Governor Steve Bullock issued the executive order Tuesday afternoon. The order mobilizes the Montana National Guard to offer assistance and extends fuel delivery hours statewide to ensure it's available to those in need. The Blackfeet Nation declared its own state of emergency back on January 4th. Since then, relentless snow and wind have pounded the Front Range of the Rockies. Workers and equipment have come in from Great Falls, Havre, Kalispell, and other locations, but crews say it appears to be a losing battle because as soon as they clear a road, it drifts over again. In Heart Butte, the community was without water for some 24 hours earlier this week. Tribal authorities say search and rescue teams are delivering food baskets, firewood, and medications. Elsewhere, check out this video by Montana Department of Transportation employee Cody White, shot Monday along Montana Highway 464, which you can't even see due to the extreme drifting. White says he spent most of Monday trying to punch through the drifts in northwest Montana. Meanwhile, in Butte, residents concerned about the water in the Berkeley pit spilling into the city's groundwater got some good news. Montana Resources had 5 years to stop the rise of toxic water in the abandoned open pit copper mine, but instead will begin within a year. By late 2018 or early 2019, Montana Resources and Atlantic Richfield companies say they will begin pumping water from the pit and treat it to remove harmful toxins. Montana Resources says it has to comply with very stringent discharge standards, and the water will be safe to human health and the environment. Billings students and School District 2 are working through plans to coordinate a safe student walkout on March 14th. The event is being organized across the country to bring attention to the recent Florida school shooting. However, there are others who oppose the demonstration.
And I don't know, it just seems like a lot of teachers are trying to project their views and like make it a really kind of partisanship issue. And it just seems really kind of ludicrous to me that teachers want kids to skip school when a lot of them preach about showing up to school every single day.
If there's a bombing, you blame the bomber, not the bomb. I don't think guns should be treated any differently.
I think the system is broken in the way that those people are allowed to have guns, and I think there's obvious red flags, especially in the Florida school shooting, that guy should not have been able to have a gun. And I think that's important to know that we don't disagree with that. Like, we don't think that just guns should be a free-for-all for everybody.
Superintendent Terry Bauk says the district supports the students' right to express their opinions. From the campaign trail, a Libertarian candidate has jumped into the race for Montana's lone U.S. House seat. She joins 5 Democrats running against Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte. Eleanor Swanson is an attorney with the Warren and Swanson law firm in Billings. She's also a vice chair of the Montana Libertarian Party. She says she's running to make sure Montana voters have an alternative to the 2 larger parties. Her campaign will focus on 2 priorities: reducing the national debt and promoting live and let live social policies. Swanson is the first third-party candidate to file for a statewide office this year. State Libertarian Party leaders say a Libertarian may also join the race for Senator John Tester's seat. In consumer news, the owners of Winco Foods have filed a permit application to build a new grocery store on Billings West End. To put up the 88,000 square foot discount grocery store, the former Kmart building at 24th Street West and Central Avenue would likely have to come down. Developers are also considering additional retail buildings along the front of the lot facing 24th Street West. The employee-owned grocery company has not yet released a construction timeline for the $6.8 million store. If approved, this would be the first Winco store in Montana.